Right, I thought I'd talk about the Wintersun crowdfunding on Indiegogo. Basically, doesn't matter the Indiegogo, but I've seen a lot of people talking about it as if it is a bad thing, and I have to admit I don't fully understand why they need all this money when it clearly states that the album. It says that the album is going to be released. Nuclear Blast are going to be releasing it around July. Here it says, and they'll be releasing physical copies. Which, so if you haven't paid for €50, which I think is a ridiculous amount of money for a downloadable link to the album. Which, I mean, at the end of the day, all you really want is the new album, and you want and that should cost about €10, €12, €15. I don't know how much euros, something like that from Nuclear Blast. You'll be able to get it to CD even better. You can go to the shop, buy it for €10, and even though they advise against that in their crowdfunding thing, stating that ooh, we don't get very much money from CD sales. Like it seems like this album was already gonna come out, so I don't fully understand. Or they would have just put it on the back burner because they couldn't really be fucking arsed to release it because or if they overspent. Is that what it is? If they overspent on making the album, it seems like the album's. Obviously they've been working on the album and they've obviously it's nearly finished. Then I mean if they're going to be releasing it just in the summer in July, or maybe they've just added this now, knowing that they've got the money. But I'm pretty sure that was already there, and they have they're on 200,000 euros now, which is 50,000 plus a little bit, 200 and odd thousand euros now, which is over the goal. And they did that in the first day. Now I don't think they'll get I don't see the point in them. People, I can understand if people won't, if people won't pay €50 now that they've already reached the goal. What's the point in paying for them to have their Wintersun headquarters thing? I mean, saying I don't understand why they need the headquarters and why the fans like almost directly. They say they're giving a service. And it's like yeah, yeah. If you sell shirts and you're actually getting something more than the album, just the album. Obviously, people pay for the album. That should the band can do whatever they want with the money they get from sales of tickets and T-shirts and all that stuff, and obviously record sales. But they was in agreeably saying they were saying that in their crowdfunding thing that they don't get very much money from the CDs. Now they're saying that Nuclear Blast are gonna be releasing the album around July, so I don't fully understand why people would then pay the €50 now, since we know we're getting an album because they've reached their goal. So there's no point in doing it now, unless you want to pay for them to have their headquarters, which they don't really need. Which was my point. That why can't they just go to a studio and do this? It's like or just maybe forget time too. Maybe if that's so difficult, I don't understand why they need their own specific thing. And Nuclear Blast is surely giving them enough money to fund at making albums. How would they made this album now when if they've already obviously pretty much made the album and then this crowdfunding is just like a bit extra on top for them. I don't it, this is kind of like half funding their new headquarters, but it's also going to be in part go. I'm not sure. It's if it's going towards the yeah, because they want to have another crowdfunding thing for for the headquarters. So it's just going to be like asking for more and more money. It's like just just play live, release albums and stuff. Stop asking for money and making everything dead complicated. And it's like I like the band. I say I like the band. The I just think especially how they've handled the crowdfunding, it doesn't come across well. It comes across as them being needy, asking for money from the fans when they can just do it the old fashioned way, just like play live, fucking release albums. I know they don't like releasing albums. They've released two albums and it's like not even two full albums. And it's like it's so just stop and start with the band. I can understand they're frustrated, but it's like if you want to make money from being a band, you've got to release albums and stuff. You've got to be putting out things. You've got to be playing live. They haven't played live that much lately either because of all the holdup. And it's like I guess what they're gonna play, they're just gonna play the same old songs. I guess. And I guess they've got a new album, so they'll be able to play that when they're playing in the summer. And like maybe I'll go. I don't know why they're playing Sweden, Finland, and stuff. I could go there. Actually, I think they are playing in Norway, which would be good. Um, but yeah, if people, I don't pay €50 now. I mean, you shouldn't have done that in the first place because for what you're getting, what people really want is the new album, and that that's going to be released now, and that is not worth €50 for a new album unless you get a limited edition signed by I, I don't know with Yari's blood on the disc or something. I don't know, like a freaking forest elf from Finland, live forest elf inside of it. I don't even know. I'm trying, but getting a load of crap you don't really, all the other stuff you don't really want. And I don't think they've handled the crowdfunding very well. It's like it was only €50. You can only get because they were like, well, if 5,000 people or whatever pay €50, we're gonna get enough money to do the album and more to not do the album because obviously the album's already done, which is the point that I'm getting to. Is like they've it seems like they're already done the album. It's like have they overspent and why are they crowdfunding it when they've already really planned this? Is it like if they didn't get the money, they would have just been like, oh fuck it, we're not releasing an album. We're going in a huff for a few years and then we'll come back and ask for some more money or we'll complain about nuclear blast. But I would say if you like their music, just buy this. Just buy it from Nuclear Blast instead. Don't get a download link from them. Like get a CD. Wait for the CD to come out, and that'll be €10, £10. I don't know, €12. How much a CD costs, but it won't cost €50. And they won't get 100% of the money. It's like the label needs money as well. Like people will go see them live, they'll get money from these other ways, get from merch and stuff. I don't like the idea of you're not getting very much for a lot, paying a lot of bank for not getting very much, and it's like them begging for money from us, and it's like this is just they're not business people. Is the thing at the end of the day, they're not business people, and yet they've I know people have been saying they're holding it at ransom. It very much seems like that if they already seem to be releasing it now that it's going to be July or whatever. Maybe this is came after they've reached the goal that they've said, oh yeah, we can release it in July. But obviously they're already pretty far along with the album because if they're going to release it in a few months' time, like obviously they're pretty far along with the album. It's pretty probably nearly finished then. Because they've got all the song titles, everything seems to be there. It's just the last finishing pieces, the rent. Now, a lot of people are gonna hate on them because of this whole catastrophe. And I think a lot of people kind of, I don't want to say got bored of them because of all the years we've had without any new music. It's kind of like it's become beyond a joke to where the point is like, I think that's part of what's built a lot of the anger around this is that a lot of fans have been waiting for a long time, and then they're kind of exploiting upon that this desperation for a new material that people wanted, and the fact that it's going towards the studio more and possibly covering up some of the overspending on this album that really drives a lot of the negativity towards Wintersun. Now, some of the people who might be annoyed with Wintersun will, a lot of them still probably end up listening to the album, and some of them might still buy the album, but from Nuclear Blast, so not to give as much money to Wintersun is a big F you to them. And now, I personally, I'll buy it on CD, whatever. I don't care. I just think it's about fairness more than anything. I don't think it's fair to have to pay €50 for a bunch of downloadable crap when all you really want is the new album, obviously. And this is another thing. I don't think they need, most importantly, is I don't think they need to spend lots and lots and lots of money to make a good album. A good album can be made on a small budget. Now, I don't think they have a particularly small budget. I think Nuclear Blast would give them ample gratuity. They would give them plenty of money to make a very good album, very good quality, give them all the stuff they need to have a good album. They've got good equipment, surely good guitars, good recording equipment. They would put them up in a good place really to make a good album. I mean, they're a big label. They're not gonna be like, oh, you have to use your grandma's microphone from the 40s or whatever. Like it's not like black metal, and that's one of the things. One of the new songs, they actually sounded a bit like black metal-y, a bit like dissection-y. It was like you don't need to spend lots and lots of money. I'm not saying I want a Winter Sun album where it sounds homemade or whatever, but it doesn't have to sound all so crystal clear and to sound good. And you don't have to spend lots and lots of money to sound good, and you don't want it to be sound overproduced, like some Dimmu Borgir stuff. I can't remember which one. It's probably the most recent one. Even that was a long time ago. That sometimes they bordered on being overproduced, and their Nuclear Blast band, who and they have actual orchestras and stuff. So it's like they managed to put out albums back in, and people have been saying yes, Yari's wanted a studio for years, and it's like, why didn't he put out albums to him, or he could have saved it up, he could have done it, he could have earned the money by now to have a studio. And so it just seems like, is it really a studio, or is it a mansion that happens to have a studio for them, and at this point, and it's just like, come on, just get on with it. And to say it's not a surprise that this has happened, and it's definitely soured uh, Winter Sun for a lot of people, me included somewhat. I don't think they've handled this well. It's not good PR for the band, and they're always going to have loyal fans. And say if the new album blows everyone away, some people might forget about it, but then they'll be like, when it comes to them wanting to release the next album, it'll be like, are they going to ask for more money? Or is it like, oh, well, there won't be a new album until there's a studio and Yari will spit his dummy out or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe it's not him. Maybe there's more. I'll give them somewhat the benefit of the doubt. The band, somewhat of the benefit of the doubt that they aren't all money grabbing. They aren't all money grabbers. Whatever. It doesn't matter. That's pretty much it. And I think hopefully the album is good, and hopefully it comes out in July, and hopefully there isn't a load of more shit around it, and they can just release the album and they can tour and they can be like a real band instead of a band that just sort of talks about releasing albums and talks about touring or whatever. Like, yeah, and they do have tour dates for the summer, so that's good. Just let them be a real band. Stop asking for money and stuff, and do their jobs. This is their jobs. Do it, like, you know.